Here are my thoughts on the one button rotation coming to World of Warcraft. First of all, we have to mention that there is a penalty for using the one button rotation. You do it 20% slower. There is a 20% reduction to your global cooldown, which means that if you are doing your rotation with the button and someone is doing it manually, if you're both doing your rotation perfectly, the person doing it manually is always going to beat you. 100% of the time, you are never going to beat them. I think that is important. If that was not in the game, I would have very, very different thoughts about this entire thing. Because do I think you should be automatically able to beat someone who's actually took the time to learn, practice all stuff? No, I don't think you should be able to do that. But there's two things you have to take in mind. One, the global cooldown reduction. Okay, so you're not going to be parsing. You're not going to be like the #1 DPS, against people who actually understand their class and can do it manually. Number two, it's optional. So if you don't want to use it, don't use it. I look at this button a lot like LFR. A lot of people when LFR came out, people were upset, people were really mad. People just look for things to be mad about on the internet. But LFR doesn't affect my gameplay at all. I like things in World of Warcraft that let people play the game the way that they want to play it without it affecting me or my life or my gameplay. If you want to do LFR and that's the way you play the game, you go ahead and do it. I'm going to sleep fine tonight. It doesn't affect my life. If I want to mythic grade, I can mythic grade, but it doesn't affect each other. The same thing about this button, this one button rotation, is if somebody is new to the game, if somebody's looking to learn, maybe somebody's got some disabilities that make things challenging. Maybe they've got visual disabilities. This is going to allow new people or people playing new classes to have an opportunity to either play the game because they couldn't play without it, or an opportunity to learn their spec, learn their class, whatever it might be, at a way that doesn't affect me at all. I would be very upset if, for me, I'm relatively new to playing Balanced Druid, but I feel like I've picked it up pretty quick and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it. Now, if somebody came out of nowhere with a one button macro and started beating me, and after I've put in time to study my talents, my rotation, learning my procs, all that kind of stuff, I would probably be a little bit frustrated that you can press one button and negate all the hard work I put in. That's not the case here. I know my rotation. I understand my procs. You're not going to beat me by pressing one button. And I think that that's fair. I think that's how it should be. But do I want other people who are like, hey man, I don't have the time to study these guides and practice on a dummy. I got kids and a full-time job and I just want to log in and actually play the game, not study Wowhead. I think that's totally fair, and it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. Because here's the benefit, in my opinion, of the one button rotation. There are going to be people who will use it in two ways. One, who will use it in a permanent way, and two, will use it in a temporary, I'm learning way. For example, let's say that someone's playing a new class and it's the beginning of a brand new season. The tough part about going into a new raid or going into a new Mythic Plus for the first time is you have to do two things at the same time. You have to learn how to do your rotation. And let's just get out of the way and mention that this button probably doesn't do anything for you. I would imagine this button does not work for healers. They only mention DPS. I'm assuming it's 1 to 4. But you have to be able to learn your rotation and learn the new mechanics of the new raid at the same time. So there's a lot of learning. It's a new season. Maybe my talents change. It's a new expansion. Maybe my whole class is different. And there's a new dungeon to raid. I have to learn them both at the same time. What I see a lot of people doing with this is, hey, you know what? While I'm learning the new dungeon and while I'm figuring out the mechanics, while I'm focused on that, I'm going to switch to this one button rotation, or even just using the recommended ones that will light up. And then once I get a hang of learning the mechanics and I don't have to focus on that as much anymore, then maybe I'll go back to doing it manually if that's how they want to play it. Maybe there's people who are like, this is just the way I'm going to play the game from now on. I'm just going to spam this one button. Here's why I think everybody wins from this one button rotation. I lose nothing. I still get to do what I love about WoW. I like going on Wowhead. I like studying the guides. I like practicing the dummy, and I like the mental stimulation that comes from seeing the procs pop up in my weak aura, and I know what decision I should be making. And I like planning ahead that, hey, there's gonna be some heavy movement here. So since there's gonna be heavy movement, I've got a lot of astro power that I can spam instant cast while moving. I like all of the complexity of WoW. I don't want them to make WoW more simple. just for new players to have an easier time. I don't want that because I would lose from that. But how do they solve that? A 1-button rotation that makes it easier for them is fantastic. Because here's the frustration that so many people have when they go into pugs. They go into a pug and either their teammates are always dying to mechanics or their teammates are not doing enough damage. So you're not timing the key or you're hitting the enrage timer on the boss. Here's what this button does. It'll allow your teammates who keep dying to mechanics to be able to focus on mechanics more, therefore hopefully dying less. Or your teammates who are not doing enough damage for you to time the key, it'll help them do more damage, all while not beating you because you're gonna be doing 20% more global cooldown speed, which means if you're playing the game correctly, you should always be beating them. So here's my takeaway. All that being said, do I want my teammates to die less to mechanics, do more damage, and still not be able to beat me who's playing manually? Yes. Like, it's frustrating when your teammates and pugs are always dying and they're not doing enough damage for you guys to be able to time the key. Now they're gonna die less, hopefully, and they're gonna do more damage. That is a guarantee. I get to time the key. I still get to play the game that I want, the way that I want. Everybody wins. Because the beauty of it, it is optional. You don't have to play with it. This button helps everybody. This button helps everybody. Now for me, I'm like, I've been really wanting to play Elemental Shaman, but I'm in a busy season right now and I just don't have a lot of time to go study this class hardcore. But now I have this 1-button rotation and I am gonna go play Ellie Shaman casually, chill, have a lot of fun, but not feel like I am gonna be holding back my team instead. So personally for me, I think it's fantastic. I think the 20% global cooldown reduction is incredible. I think it's gonna be great for new players. I wanna get my wife back into World of Warcraft right now. I think this is gonna be great for her. People with disabilities is gonna be incredible. And again, it's gonna help people survive mechanics better because they don't have to focus so much on their buttons. They're not gonna be staring at their bars and not looking at their character. All at no loss to me. Doesn't take away. People are like, oh, well, let's take away all the hard work I put in. No, it's not. You're still gonna beat them. That's your reward, that I do more damage than you. But for those that don't have the time to put in that time, or maybe just the desire that they don't want to put in the time, awesome. Hit the button, play the game, have fun. I think everybody wins. I think everybody wins. I think it's gonna be great for new players, returning players. I think it's gonna be fantastic. And I think it's a great addition to the game without taking anything away from it.